roommate Red Fox. I'm from Lennox. My Jamaicans, rude boys, Lennox. We bumping in, the confident. 100,000 in the duffel, dump it in. Not double dutch, but we jumping in. Fair one, come on, y'all acting dumb again. And the trap hood, y'all better act good. We'll treat you like weeds, roll your ass in the back.
And today we're going to be looking at the fourth indie house I've done a review on, I think. I've done Memoirs of a Trespasser by Imaginary Authors, Incensed by Smell Bent, Laird du Desert Americain by Andy Tower, and now we're looking at Burning Barbershop by D.S. and Durga. And part of the reason that I like getting scents from these sort of small batch houses is because you never know what you're going to get. Usually they're not spending a shitload of money on staff costs or ads or on bottling. Sometimes there's no middleman, so that saving usually gets passed off to the consumer. You can get a wide variety of indie scents for well under $100, and usually you're going to get the same type of quality that you'd get when you pick up a niche scent. Sometimes better, sometimes worse, but there's a lot of attention paid to detail at the indie level. Now, I saw an article in the magazine that talked about DS and Durga about 8 months ago. I don't remember the magazine that the article was in, but the scent that they talked about was called Burning Barbershop. And so before we talk about Burning Barbershop, let's talk about the house for a little bit. DS and Durga is a house that is based in New York, in Brooklyn, so love that. I'm a born and raised New Yorker for 35 years, so really like that business is local. The name DS and Durga refers to the two owners of the brand. One of them is DS, the other is Durga. DS is a male who grew up in a small New England town where he was inspired heavily by the ocean and forest atmospheres. And he moved to NY in 2002. And then on the other side of the equation, Durga is a female. She was born in New York, but she traveled around the world as she was growing up. She studied architecture in Los Angeles, design in Holland, and she moved back to NY to design buildings, and that's where she met DS. And they started by making tinctures with oils and herbs and florals to make aftershaves for friends. And then they realized that none of their friends shave. So they sort of refocused and directed those efforts into fragrances. Now, they take great pride in their fragrances. They're all made small batch, all made in-house. And their inspiration draws from many different places. Herbal wisdom, Native American medicines, historical movement, and overall Americana. They've got scents like Boston ivy, Mississippi medicine, cowboy grass, and you can sort of see that some of their inspiration comes from that period before the real onslaught of capitalism and the railroad era, and that's sort of There Will Be Blood Western Frontier era. And I think that's really cool. I enjoy that theme a lot here. Now, the inspiration behind this fragrance, called Burning Barbershop, was a fire that destroyed a barbershop in Westlake, New York around 1890. And all of the barbershop's tonics, their aftershaves with spearmint and lime and lavender and vanilla, were all burned in the fire. And someone found a bottle in the rubble, and supposedly it smelled like this. So the concept is a classic sort of barbershop fougere scent, burnt to a literal crisp. And as far as I know, this is available in one size, 50 ml, in an eau de parfum concentration for $100. So I think it's a fair price. I think actually this was $106, but I'll get to that in a second. The scents do come in different concentrations and sizes, and most of them run between $90 and $110. So I would say well priced for the quality you're going to get with this house. Now, as far as the presentation, it's a blue box. It says DS and Durga, small batch landmark, olfactory tonics and aromatic preparations. Price code on the price on the bottom, $106. Barcode. I don't know what that means. And DS and Durga scents are crafted by hand in small batches using balsams, resins, plant oils, and premium perfume ingredients. Sedimentary is natural. On the back, you just have what I said to you about the fire. It was actually in a barbershop called Curling Brothers. You have, I believe, your batch code there, the name of the fragrance there, and that's it for the box. The bottle, on the other hand, is it's nice. I like it. DS, Durga. Sort of a plant there. Again, they're really into plant extracts. Name of the house only appears, unless I'm missing something, on the sticker below. Light cap. I mean, just a really light plastic cap, which I don't love. And a decent atomizer that shoots a fair amount of juice. So I'm going to talk more about the presentation in a bit later. This fragrance was released in 2010. Not really any listed notes on this, but as I said, the description lists burnt spearmint, vanilla, lavender, and lime. Sorry, I just drank a little bit of water. I picked up a 50 ml of this, as I said, EDP strength for $106 at New London Pharmacy in Chelsea, in New York. And if you don't know that place, you should check it out because they have a really nice niche selection. Nascimento, Etat Libre d'Orange, Histoire de Parfum, Olfactive Studio, Creed, Aqua de Parma, etc. And when I was there, I checked out 3 scents from DS and Durga. I checked out this one. I checked out one called Italian Citrus. And I checked out one called Mississippi Medicine. And both of those are staying on my to buy list because I enjoy both of them. Really quality artisanal products that have this sort of authentic smell. And you could tell that there's high-end materials used to make these. And it comes across. Now, what you're going to get when you first spray this on, I'm actually going to give myself a spray when I talk about this. Yeah. So what you're going to get when you first really spray this on is you're gonna get like just fire, like smoke, literally, like a log in a camp fire from the night before, just an intense woody smoke. And if you were just to leave it there, if you didn't give it time to develop, I don't think you're gonna like this unless you like that sort of thing. You might just smell and go, oh great, a dark and smoky wood scent. So you got to let this open up. Now once it opens up, it stays very dark and smoky, but what changes is that very classic sort of barbershop fougere style smell slowly peeks its head out, and you get a vibe of, like someone described it, I think, as a key lime pie, like a burnt key lime pie, and I think that's pretty accurate. Burning Barbershop is a really good name for this fragrance. Now with that said, surprisingly, I think this is a really simple fragrance. There's not a lot of complexity to it. You've got some light and fresh notes, but they're really sort of trounced on by the wood smoke. And even as you let it dry down, that changes a bit, but I don't feel like the smoke ever really disappears enough for you to really discern the other notes in the back of this. This is one of those fragrances for me that's sort of easier to smell and enjoy than wear and enjoy. I don't think this is a very wearable scent. Now, I like things like that. I said when it gets colder, I wear Black Afghano as a signature scent, so I'm gonna wear this. But you kind of have to look at this as like a Comme des Garçons or Etat Libre d'Orange scent. It's not going to be a chick magnet. It's not going to get you a lot of compliments. If that's what you're looking for, I'd say go with Italian Citrus or Boston Ivy from this house. Even for me, this is going to require the proper occasion and weather. Weather-wise, I think this is a spring scent at most. And hear me out on this. Summer, this isn't going to work because the smoke's going to be too heavy. Fall, you could definitely wear this in the fall, but the air often has that wood smoke vibe already, and so I don't know if you really would want to wear this in the fall. And then in the winter, this is a kind of light scent for the genre, and I think that you want something a bit more heavy in the winter. So this is going to work for cooler spring days or nights, but it's not really a work scent. I think it's a casual scent. I like this scent. I do. I'm not just saying that, but it has some negatives. First and foremost, it's very limited. I mean, it's going to be probably for me few and far wears between, because I think this is only going to work for a very short time of the year, and as I said, very specific circumstances. Secondly, and this is I think where the most disappointment comes in, this is an EDP, and it costs $106 for 50 ml, and it doesn't have great sillage or projection or longevity, and that surprises me, because the other indie scents that I've covered by Tower and Imaginary Altars really have fortitude, and they're either less expensive as this one or on that price tier, so that's disappointing. Finally, I'm not in love with the presentation. I hate bottles that only have the fragrance name on the bottom of the bottle on a sticker. It just makes reaching for it difficult sometimes, especially if we have multiple fragrances from the house. I do appreciate that they did a box, because neither Smell Bent or Imaginary Authors does a box, and little details like that matter to me. But still, I find this presentation to be a bit of a letdown. I wish they would do something maybe a little more substantial to the box. Now, I have a lot of respect for Diaz and Durga. I absolutely intend on adding more fragrances from the house to my collection. I really do. But I thought this one was going to be a huge hit for me, and maybe that's why I'm a bit let down. I expected greatness, but I feel like I only got something good. And if you're looking for a smoky scent, there are better options out there. And where I think the mistake was made here was not making that Barbershop tonic stand out a bit more. Obviously, smoke overpowers everything. You know, you think like when you bake and you use vanilla bean or vanilla extract. You need to be very sparing with that vanilla, because if you go in too much, it's going to overpower and ruin your dessert. You'll only taste vanilla. So you moderate it to such a degree that you can taste vanilla, but it's part of the sum. Here, for the most part, I feel like the burning wood is the sum of the sums. And the fougere sort of tries to let itself be known to make this true to its name, but the balance just isn't good. And you're left with something of a good quality, but typical. And I think this fragrance had every indication of being atypical. So I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. It's a good fragrance. It really is a good fragrance. But it's also, to me, I see it as a wasted opportunity to have what I think really could have been a Fragcom hit. I think that if they did this the way I pictured it, and that spearmint and that lime and that vanilla and lavender popped more, but it had that darkness to it, I think this could have been huge. I think this could have been a fragrance that we were all talking about, you know, come the spring or fall. And I just think that they didn't do it the right. It just wasn't executed well. So that's my opinion. That doesn't make me right, obviously, but that's what I think about this. And the other two I smelled, Mississippi Medicine and Italian Citrus. Those were both really good. I think Mississippi Medicine is going to be a really good one. I think that will be a good one for you, because that's what you think it will be. That's like this almost like root beer cream soda vibe, but spicy. And the Italian Citrus sort of has like a Xerjoff quality to it, just beautiful. Lots of different citrus, blood orange and tangerine and grapefruit. So I think those two could be good. There's a lot in the Durga catalog that I want to explore. And so this is a house I plan on adding multiple fragrances to, but we didn't get off to a good start here. I'm not going to lie about that. Anyway, that is this week's episode of Maximilian Must Know. We will be back next week with 2 shows. You know what it is. Any questions, comments, whatever, email me at maxmknow@gmail.com. I'll see you guys later. I'm Maximilian.
We ain't homies, we ain't buddies, we ain't cool. Your plate lonely, my dudes hungry, they take food. If you don't know me, that's all rugby, I straight do. You gotta love me, who wouldn't? Well then I hate you. It don't smell good when I spray tools. I'm like a bike that's in traffic. How I